Morning, second graders. This is Grandma Marr, back with another story for you. And this time, it's like the story about how the giraffe got his long neck. This one is how Rhino got his baggy skin. And again, it's an African folktale, and it's a legend. So as we said before, it isn't really how things happen, but it's how we like to say they happen. And you can see this is showing the map again of Africa, and here's South Africa down the tip. So that's where the story comes from. How Rhino got his baggy skin. Long, long ago in Africa, the rhino looked rather different to the animal we see today. He was still one of the largest creatures that lived in the wild, but his skin fit perfectly, and it was all silky and pink. His beautiful horns were the same size, and they sat very neatly on either side of his head. Here's what Rhino looked like back then, according to the legend. Very different from today. Rhino was very proud of his looks and was quick to boast and compare himself with the other animals of Africa. Elephant, he would jeer, your skin is wrinkly and the color is dull. And why do your horns seem to be growing from the side of your mouth? Elephant would trumpet in anger and chase after the rhino, yelling at him not to be so vain. Here is Elephant, and here is Rhino making fun of Elephant. You kind of know what's going to happen, don't you? The pompous Rhino also mocked Zebra. Those stripes of yours make me feel quite dizzy, he would sigh with exaggeration. Whenever I see them, I feel the need to go and lie down. Zebra would snort and stomp his hooves with irritation, but Rhino would simply laugh and trot away. Here's Zebra snorting and stomping. He's exasperated by Rhino, and here's Rhino, ha ha ha, just walking away. He feels pretty secure, pretty superior. Rhino would even criticize the animals that he was afraid of. He was careful not to laugh. Lion, old friend, he would say, isn't your mane rather big and hairy? I'm quite sure that you must be awfully hot under all that hair. Lion would growl moodily and tell him to mind his own business. Here's Lion growling, saying, mind your own business, Rhino. There wasn't a creature in the land that escaped Rhino's hurtful remarks. Giraffe, your neck is far too long. Tortoise, what a cumbersome shell. Baboon, your bottom is naked. Monkey, your long tail is just plain silly. And as for you, warthog, he would sneer, you must be the ugliest of all the animals in Africa. Look at that. Here they are listening to what he's saying. He's not nice to them at all. The animals grumbled amongst themselves, so tired of Rhino's rudeness. One day we will pay Rhino back for every unkind word he has spoken, they said to each other, and then we will see who will be laughing. Here they are. Looks like Monkey's kind of leading the conversation. And that day would eventually come. It was the hottest day Africa had ever known. The sun shone down so harshly that the animals could barely breathe. Some of them lay in the shade of the trees. Others plunged themselves into a cool river or a muddy pool. But as the day grew longer, it grew hotter and hotter still. See, here they are. There's Rhino in the water with the monkey and the froggy, and the monkey's under the tree. And here's zebra and elephant in the pond. Eventually, the animals started to take their coats, their skins and horns off, leaving them on the riverbank or beside the muddy pools. As the sun began to set, the creatures began to leave the shade or the water. They found their skins and dressed again carefully. Look here, they've left their skins on the bank. Elephant and zebra. The monkey's starting to get dressed now. Rhino's skin still on the bank. At last, the only skin that remained beside a muddy pool was that of Rhino. He was still submerged up to his eyes in the cool, dark mud, and he had fallen fast asleep. Here's monkey and zebra, and they're looking at Rhino asleep in the water, and there's his skin up on the beach, on the shore. This is our opportunity, whispered Elephant. I have a plan, grunted Warthog. So all the animals gathered around to hear what they should do. And then quickly and ever so quietly, they set to work. See, here they are. They're scheming. They're planning. What can we do? They carried Rhino's silky pink skin to another muddy puddle and dunked it in completely. Then Elephant, Lion, and Crocodile had a tug of war with it and stretched it as far as they could. See, they're stretching that skin out. When it was double the size and all out of shape, some of the other animals began stomping on it and scratching it with thorns. Monkey, in the meantime, had taken one of the horns and had ground it down on a rock until it was half the size of the other. Here they are, monkeys at work, changing the shape of the horn. At last, Rhino woke up, stumbling out of the pool, his eyes half blinded by the mud. He tried to put his coat back on. I can't see properly, he complained, and my skin just doesn't seem to fit right. Let us help you, offered some of the animals. Rumph, moaned Rhino, as they prodded and pulled and fastened his skin around him. Here he is. His eyes are full of mud, and they're helping him get his skin back on. And when it was done, Monkey plonked the two horns back on his head, but not on the sides, the long one in the middle of his snout and the short one just behind it. Then the animals stood back to see what the Rhino looked like. And what a sight to see! His skin was all gray and scratched, and it hung with baggy folds around his body. And how funny did those two odd horns look in the middle of his forehead. They're saying, oh my gosh, look how he looks now. The animals laughed and laughed, and Rhino, whose eyesight was still no good, became more and more angry. Why are you laughing at me? He demanded. Your skin is dull and baggy, and your horns are in between your eyes, they sniggered. There they are, hee 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 hee, laughing away. Shaking his body, he felt the loose skin around him, and peering at his nose, he could just see the ridiculous position of his horns. He could not contain his humiliation, and he charged at the animals in a terrible rage. Oh, look, he's looking. Oh my gosh, my horns are in the wrong place. Angry Rhino chased them far and wide in his ill-fitting skin. And to this day, Rhino has his baggy gray skin, poor eyesight, and his two odd horns in the middle of his forehead. He's often in a very bad mood and can be seen chasing the other African animals that annoy him. Ooh, he looks angry, doesn't he? And here they are, running away. He's chasing. So that is the story, according to the African folk legend, about how the rhino got his baggy skin. And it wasn't very nice for Rhino, was it, to be played a trick on. But he was not nice to the others, and they were tired of that. So I think the better thing is, if somebody's not being nice, that you say, I'm sorry that you're not feeling like being nice. Can I help you feel happier? What do you need? And maybe you can help the person who is not being nice to feel better about himself and be nice to you instead of doing something back to that person. But this is a fun story, and it's just a legend from Africa I thought you might enjoy. Stay well, kids. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.